Welcome back to the final market minute where we have the SPY dropping down 1.25%. Looking at the SPX, we look like we are retesting this bottom trend line in which we have tested a few times in the past, being December 2018 and the COVID crash of March, and a few times back in 2015. So this is a very risky test here. If it drops below this, we could see a nice flash crash. Last time we dropped below this level, it was a 20% dump, and then more so in 2018 where it dropped 10%. So this is all hypothetical. You see a nice rebound going into Friday, closing in 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's close. So also tech stocks taking a nasty hit, but Bitcoin kind of took a little bit of a pump today. Ignore my hopium there. If we take a look at a day chart, well, more so maybe hour chart, we had a nice pump this morning, or yesterday into today, going up about 4%, and then crash back down as we hit support. So all this kind of comes in line with the whole Chinese stock market is going to crash the entire global financial system. So here we have a Chinese stock could plunge by 20% if real estate troubles get much worse, Morgan Stanley says. So basically, what started with the Evergrande situation about a year ago or so, figured out that over half of the Chinese real estate market is just a bubble and ghost town. So here we have just like different pictures of the Chinese in China, where it's just literally just buildings, abandoned buildings. And so like any market, bonds are built upon these mortgage-backed securities, and nobody was living in these. So it was all kind of a hopium thing, and all this money was, I don't want to say falsely printed, but it was based upon debt. So here we have the national debt GDP to debt ratio from 2010 to 2020, and we see where it just keeps going up. And this wasn't just a spike because of COVID. This is just an ongoing bubble in which we have seen over the last few years. So right here in 2027, it shows that we could see it at 92.76%. So what happens when GDP, your debt ratio, hits 100%? Do you default? It's a good question. So basically, the biggest concern is that a lot of American companies and hedge funds and asset management groups hold foreign stocks and bonds, and that will basically affect people like BlackRock. Not say we like BlackRock, but everybody who has a retirement fund with them. If everything drops on their end, they could get a margin call depending on how over leveraged they may be. So on top of that, there are more lockdowns going in place in China due to COVID. So in the town of Chengdu, it locks down 21 million residents. Now, I've never heard of this town, and if you go into, if you see where it's at, it's more in the mainland body of China. So with 21 million people locked down there, that's going to shut down a lot of manufacturing, like it did back in 2020. So this could see another, and I'm not going to say supply chain crunch, but it's going to make things a lot worse than it has been if this continues, because their lockdowns in China are a little bit worse than we have in the United States. Not because they're communist, but because they're communist. So yeah, Thursday evening, 21 million residents in their home, doubles down to zero COVID policy at a Communist Party meeting. So not say, but so yeah, 21 million people. That's a lot, and try and get down to the zero COVID, and which is nearly impossible at this point. I mean, not that anybody subscribes here to hear what I feel about COVID, but it's basically just going to turn into something that is cycled around through generations and generations and get watered down, in my opinion. But aside that, the Chinese real estate market is on the brink of crashing, bringing our markets down. If you take a look at some Chinese stocks, I mean, they're just taking a hit. Like if you look at Alibaba, let's go to the weekly view. I mean, it just has not recovered since 2020, and that's a 75% dump. And then if you look at I think it's the Baidu company. So I mean, okay, yeah, you had the spike. It's just a nice trading stock overall, but then down 70% since the top back in February of 2021. So be careful out there trading, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button, and come back for more content later next week. Thank you.